on the fence line where the wild winds run, where the skies stretch wide and kiss the sun. The sagebrush whispers, the rivers hum. This land's a story just begun. Wyoming calls where the heart beats free. Mountains rise and dreams run deep. Past the borders, past the sign, there's a world alive beyond the fence line. Boots hit gravel and the prairie sings with every hoofbeat. The frontier rings from ranchers' hands to miners' veins. The spirit of the West remains. Wyoming calls where the heart beats free. Mountains rise and dreams run deep. Past the borders, past the sign, there's a world alive beyond the fence line. So come ride with me through the dust and time. Find the soul of Wyoming beyond the fence line, beyond the fence line. Beyond the fence line, beyond the fence
Welcome to Wyoming Beyond the Fence Line, where we step past the headlines and into the truth. This show isn't about left or right, it's about what's real in Wyoming, across the country, and around the world. No spin, no talking points, just facts, context, and honest conversation. If you're tired of being managed instead of informed, you're in the right place. Let's go beyond the fence line. And now, here is your host, Joseph Kibler, candidate for Wyoming governor in 2026.
Hey, good morning and happy Wednesday, Wyoming. Hope you're doing well. Today, Wednesdays are always interesting because I kind of step away from Wyoming and I go, what in the world is going on in the world, right, you guys? I feel like every week there's like some massive overwhelming, stressful headline that we have to cover on Wednesdays. Wars and Congress and the administration. I mean, there's just so much going on, right, you guys? I think about today's show as I was thinking about what to say this morning, as I actually got up early, got my exercise, did what I'm supposed to do in the morning, try to get my blood flowing, had my devotions, was thinking about this idea. We got to trust God with everything as we look around, and it's overwhelming. I mean, the headlines are stressful. I have found myself, I don't know about you guys, found myself glued to this thing, trying to find what is really going on. Where's the truth? We're at war, and yes, by the way, that's the truth. We're at war. We have declared war, and we are at war with Iran. I don't care how we spin it, how we talk about it. We have declared war. We are at war in the Middle East, and 50,000 of our troops are involved in a war in the Middle East. So let's call it what it is. And then there is this issue of evil and distraction. And what is the truth? What are the lies? And cutting through the noise. And anyways, I find myself just, where is the truth? I'm trying to find the truth. Is it on Telegram? Is it on X? Is it on Facebook? Where is the truth? Where's the truth about what's going on in Wyoming? Where's the truth about what's going on in the world? And I was reminded this morning that the truth is right here. Right here on my desk. The rest of it is distorted truth at best, so much of the time. And it feels a little bit heavy today. When I come in on when I do the show on Wednesdays, it feels a little heavy. So I want to put this into context today. I'm going to talk about a few things. First, I'm going to talk about truth and that we need to trust God. Number two, I'm going to say that we have to ask moral questions. And whether you're a believer in God, or you're on the right or the left, or you don't have a party, or you're in the middle of figuring it out, as people, we need to ask some moral questions. We need to start asking questions. The third part is, while we're watching the headlines, other things are going on. So the question is what is going on behind the curtain while we're all looking this direction? I'm going to talk a little bit about that today too. I'm going to talk about why these things matter. Another thing I'm going to talk about is the culture of distraction and the amount of stress that it's creating for most of us, and how we've got to try to get out of it. I mean, I'm having to tell myself, I'm having to put it on my calendar, turn your phone off, disconnect, play with your kids, because it's just getting so heavy and there's so much going on. And it's like, boy, I don't want to miss anything, but at the same time, maybe it's okay that I missed something. So let's start out with this first point. There's a lot happening right now. We know the wars, the political battles here at home, investigations, the flying headlines. And if we're not careful, we're going to end up in this constant fog of distraction in our lives. And maybe you're feeling that way. Maybe you've got those sleepless nights and you're wondering why. So this morning I want to slow down, approach all this from a place of humility, hopefully, a little bit of biblical perspective. I'm reminded in Ephesians 6:12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against powers, the rulers of the darkness in this world." This wrestling, this fight between good and evil. And by the way, to me, this is not a right and left issue, you guys. It's a fight between good and evil. And that means a deeper struggle, behind the many things that we see in the news. It's not just political. Excuse me while I drink a little water there. It's moral, it's spiritual, it's about truth and deception. And so this is where I want to start. And no matter what happens in the world, our foundation needs to remain the same. Psalms says, "Some will trust in chariots or in horses, but we should trust in the name of the Lord our God." Wars will come, nations will rise and fall, political leaders will make decisions that affect millions of us. But for those of us that trust in God, We need not fear. And I think most of us, even myself included, if you're living today, it's sort of this constant state of fear and anxiety and stress, right? Being created by the news cycle, by the media, by our leaders. I believe that God appoints the leaders of men for a purpose. And while you and I may not agree humanly with what they do, and by the way, I'm not thrilled at all with what we're doing in the Middle East right now, because I believe there are nefarious reasons for what's going on beyond what we're being told or led to believe, as we're burying the truth in other areas, as we're yet is the purpose of God being laid out, being put out there. Well, if God appoints the leaders of men for a purpose, we have to trust that some of that purpose is being laid out, even if we don't, as humans, as individuals, agree with it. Because I don't love what's going on at all. But this does not mean we don't ignore reality. It means that we need to keep perspective. So we need to ask this. We need to ask some moral questions. And we need to keep asking them, and let's not give up. We have to stand for the truth, and it's not just political ones. We need to ask, is what America is doing right now, is it just? You know what? Being good and fighting evil, destroying evil men, women, whatever, I suppose is a just cause. And God had judged the nations throughout the Bible in this way, where God had Israel eliminate evil. And so, while I can agree with the premise of that, I can't help but ask, are we fighting evil to cover up other evil? It's just a question. What am I talking about? The great deception, the great evil, what in pertaining to life in this country, abortion, Epstein files. They're covering it up. There's no transparency. It's nothing but lies. And I can't help but wonder why the victims and Mr. Massey and some of these other champions for the truth have pretty much gone silent. They said, "Oh, we're going to start naming names. We're going to start holding people to account." And the war starts, and the silence is deafening on these moral issues. So is it just? Is it moral? Is it truly in the national interest? Is it about protecting people or protecting power? I think we have to ask these questions, you guys. We have to ask these questions. Because this world is full of propaganda and narratives, and the real challenge is discerning the truth. I'll be honest with you guys. I am having a hard time figuring out what is true and what is not. And of course, AI has not helped us with that at all. Is this video real? Is this article real? Is this person real? It's hard to know what is real anymore. So wisdom is so important. Everyone has a narrative, everyone has a spin, but the truth requires patience. Proverbs 18:17 says, "The first to plead his case seems right until another comes and examines him." So let's talk about some of the headlines and get into the meat of some of this conversation today. So here's where, for me, this isn't a pleasant conversation. I don't love having to have this conversation, but we are obligated to speak the truth. And on Wednesdays, I'll be honest, sometimes you guys, I struggle with it because it's like, where is it? Where is the truth? Where can it be found? So let's talk about some of this. The war. Let's talk about the Iran war. Just cause? Let's ask the question. Is it a just cause? Well, what we're being told, it may appear to be just, I suppose. We have a really, really bad track record, though, as a nation of replacing regimes, which is exactly what is happening here, by the way. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This war is not about anything other than a regime placement and probably about oil or natural resources. But is it just what we're doing? Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps it is just. Is it moral? I don't know. Is it our job to replace governments, to topple evil governments? I don't know. Is it our job? You guys, I don't really know if I have the answer to all of these questions. I don't know. I do know that the Bible says in the last days there'll be wars and rumors of wars. I do know that we're getting very close to that moment. Israel is a nation fighting for its survival in many ways. Granted, not exactly the Israel that I would want to picture in a lot of ways. Very, very godless in so many ways. Is this truly in our national interest? There are things we don't know, folks. I mean, you and I don't know what they know. Right? But I believe this is truly about global power and repositioning. And you know what? J.D. Vance said it out in the open 2 weeks ago. We're starting a new world order. He said it like 5 times. The new world order is coming. We're creating a new world order. America is creating a new world order. The Board of Peace. By the way, congratulations to the Board of Peace for beginning their first war. I suppose maybe things get better before they get worse before they get better, right? But J.D. Vance said it himself 3 or 4 times. I think it was an interview with Fox News. He said, no, the new world order is upon us. We're starting a new world order. Here we are. We elected these folks thinking America first, no more wars, secure borders. Well, maybe we've done a decent job on secure borders. Deportations, protecting our elections. And yet here we are. Here we are apparently starting a global new world order through a peace board that's been created by our president, and he is the lifelong leader of this private membership, $1 billion membership organization. Not what we voted for, guys. Not what we asked for. And I understand that things happen in the world that we don't control. But we're only getting tidbits of the truth of what's going on in the Middle East. And we must pray for our men and women who are over there serving and fighting and surviving this war. We must pray for them. I believe the truth of what's going on over there is being censored to us, the American people. It's very difficult to find what's actually going on. We're being told one thing, but what's really going on? We don't really know. If you watch the narratives on the mainstream media or on social media, you can see it's being censored. It's being controlled. The narrative is being controlled. The right is doing the same thing that we have been pointing at the left for doing and accusing the left of doing. It's 2 wings of the same bird. And so that's just the tip of the iceberg. We talk about the war. What about the Epstein files? You guys, we must keep talking about the Epstein files. The truth must come out. It's being hidden from us. The DOJ is hiding it from us. Pam Bondi is hiding it from us. Congress is hiding it from us, hiding it from the world. And we're being distracted with wars and everything else to try to forget about it. Don't forget about it. We got to keep talking about it. We got to keep fighting for it. The evil that's been done to our fellow countrymen, to people around this world by the men and women behind the curtain must be exposed, and we must keep fighting for it. We must demand full transparency. those questions remain largely unanswered. And the truth matters, you guys. Accountability matters. By the way, while we were distracted a couple of weeks ago with Venezuela, Congress betrayed the American people with the passing of their spending bills. They increased spending in every aspect of bureaucratic government that you can think of. They continued the Department of Education. They continued the expansion of corporate welfare and bailout programs and personal welfare and bailout programs. They expanded them massively. So while we've been looking the other way, Congress has been continuing their resolutions and passing spending bills, putting us further and further away from the truth. We elected these folks to do the opposite. Yet here we are, doing the same thing over again, just in a different way. Maybe we package it different. Maybe we say it different. But packaging it different doesn't make it right. Packaging it different doesn't make it right. I'm just going to say that again. So that's going on. Then there's this fight over secure elections. You have to watch my election show. I talk about this in Wyoming. But why can't we pass that you have to be a proven U.S. citizen to vote in our elections? Most conservative Congress ever. And yet we cannot get anything done at all for the American people. Very, very little. Very little. And we're thinking about changing the rules and bending the rules and doing that. But, it's only a matter of time that we need to do that comes back to get you. Because we can't seem to get along. So let's talk about this. The Bible says, Luke 8:17, "For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor anything is secret that will not be made known and come to light." History shows that corruption eventually comes out, and the real question is, how long is it going to take? Proverbs 11:1 says that a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, and a just weight is his delight. Guys, fair systems matter. Integrity matters. Transparency matters. And we're not seeing that. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up today just a little bit. This culture of distraction. We, as a people, culturally have gotten so asleep at the wheel that we have lost control. And here's the part I think that really concerns me. We now live in a culture that's literally designed to keep us distracted from the truth. While political fights and wars and all of this stuff dominate the news cycle, it doesn't include all of these secret things and backdoor deals and things being done behind the curtains. Families truly struggling. Meanwhile, around the world, by the way. Meanwhile, bureaucracy is expanding and the administrative state is bloated beyond all reason. I mean, look at the fight here in Wyoming, you guys. The Wyoming legislature went in we're going to fight. We're going to cut some budget. We're going to get rid of some of this stuff. We didn't shrink the administrative state bureaucracy more than 1%. 1%, you guys. From the budget. We basically didn't get anything done that we wanted to get done. There are still some highlights going on there. But this culture of distraction. I mean, look at Checkgate. Boy, that derailed the legislative session, didn't it? Completely derailed the legislative session. When the truth of the situation matters so much, but we're distracted, right? Culture of distraction. Let's create a distraction to dissuade from the truth and productivity and getting things done. We have built a culture that just encourages us to chase after things that don't matter. It's not an economic issue. It's a cultural issue. This isn't about judging people. It's really about recognizing that when a society has drifted away from the truth, this is the result that we have. Is it just? Is it moral? We've lost our moral high ground. We've lost the idea that we do the hard work and we leave the results to God. So, where do we end up in all of this? I think that's a great question. So glad you asked. The truth matters, you guys. And it means being unpopular. So, what do we do with all this? The wars, the political battles, the investigations, the economic pressures, the cultural distraction. Well, we know one thing. John 8:32 says it. You know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Guess what? The truth isn't owned by political parties. It's not owned by me. In fact, even yesterday, I did a show that was about gambling and marijuana, and I told you it was more my opinion and the truths that I see in those areas and those issues. But it's not owned by media narratives. It requires courage. It requires humility. And sometimes it means admitting we don't have all the answers, like I did yesterday. In the issue of marijuana and how I have part of those answers, but not all of those answers. So, with what we see going on in the world today, what do we have to do? We have to stay grounded. I think for me personally, got to stop trying to find the truth on here and remember where I can find the truth over here, right here on my desk. We need to ask the moral questions. We need to reject the distractions. We need to ask ourselves, why are we being pointed this way? What's going on over here? Because we're being betrayed by our government at an astounding level. Time is near, folks. Remember that real freedom starts here, and it's always rooted in the truth. Because as noisy as it is right now with the wars and the lies and the endless distractions, because it is lies, folks, we are being lied to about virtually everything. When you look at, perfect example, look at the revisions of the GDP and the revisions of the job numbers from last year. How they're just revising everything down and everything up in different ways. And it's like, wait a minute, so you got this all wrong. It's because we're being lied to. So seek the truth, folks. And I'm not the end all be all for the truth and the facts, folks. But I do know this, that some of us have got to start standing for something. And if that means standing and going, you know what? While I trust God that He appoints the leaders of men to do things in His purpose and in His will, that I ought to stand up and speak against what is evil and what is not right, regardless. I grieve for the innocent people caught in the crossfire of what's going on in the Middle East. And it's so distant to us, folks, that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect us. Yes, our armed forces are out there. It does affect us. Apparently we can wage war, but we can't take care of our own house. That's part of why I left the major parties. I left the Republican Party. Because it appears that we can't do these good things for our fellow men, but we can sure do all of these other things because we want it, we like it, whatever. We can compromise or change our principles for those things. So today, I want to leave you with these questions as you navigate this endless cycle of wars and rumors of wars and everything going on. Is it just? Is it moral? Is it a national interest? Is it protecting the people, or is it really about power? We need to change course. And part of that, obviously, goes to this verse that's here on my campaign sign behind me. We have to decide, first of all, if we're going to be His people. If we're going to be God's people, we need to turn our heads and pray. We need to confess our sins. that God might heal our land, perhaps one last time before the end comes. Most of us know the time is drawing near, and whether that's in my lifetime or soon to come, the time is drawing near where God is love, but he is also just. He's not going to stand by and allow so much of what we see to continue. The truth is going to come out, and it's going to affect all of our lives. So be ready, be vigilant, be looking at the times and the seasons in which we live. And I want to just encourage you, you know what? Just make a difference in one person's life today. And whether you're a Christ follower or not, a believer, or you're right or you're left or you're sinner, it doesn't really matter. This is a good versus evil discussion. And just do something good or nice for somebody today. Just do it. Just try to do it. So what's coming up on the show the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow I'm going to talk about my viewpoints on the cost of living and where I stand and the things I would do as governor to affect the cost of living. Friday, the big announcement. Guys, big campaign announcement coming on Friday. It'll be live on Cowboys State Politics. And then I will also issue a live statement on all of my channels. So that's exciting. I'm excited, by the way, you guys, about the direction that God has taken the campaign and the doors that have opened. And I'll explain more of that on Friday. And then on Monday, I'll really dive into that. On Tuesday next week, I'm going to talk about bills. We are going to talk about the legislative session on Tuesday. So that'll be fun. We're going to talk about bills that lived, bills that died, and bills that got signed. So we're going to talk about that on Tuesday next week. And Wednesday, we'll take a step away and we'll look at what's going on in the world. And who knows, what will next week's headline bring? I don't know. But with that, you know what? Someone has posted a comment on one of our threads here. Is that found in the Bible? The word teaches about wars and rumors of wars. B, I'm not exactly sure what question you were asking in regards to what is found in the Bibles, but it does say that in the last days that we will see this continuous cycle of just the wars and the rumors of wars. And that is part of one of the symbols or the signs that the time is drawing towards the end. Before the tribulation of the world, obviously there's going to be 3.5 years of this peace, right? And then 3.5 years of judgment and all that. And yeah, that is mostly in Revelations in the Bible. But B, if you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me on that. So that's what's coming up on the show. That's the message today. The message today, really, really simple. Cut through the noise, seek the truth, put God first. Ask the moral questions. Look past the headlines. Fights the culture of distraction because the truth still matters. So with that, God bless you guys. I'm going to wrap this show up. This show is kind of heavy. These shows are kind of heavy sometimes. I'm going to wrap this up with a great song called Love Your Neighbor that we made for this show. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I'm going to get out and get to work. I've got a whole bunch of work to get done today. So with that, God bless you guys. Take care. And tomorrow, I'll see you. We'll talk about cost of living, which will be a lot more fun than today's topic, right? So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.
Sun up shining on a gravel drive, granddad's coffee in a styrofoam cup. Says, boy, this world will tell you keep what's yours, but that ain't how we were brought up. We bow our heads at the table, thank the Lord for the food and the fight. Loving folks who love you back is easy, but that ain't walking in the light. Love your neighbor, mow his yard when he's hurting. Love your brother when he's slamming your door. Love the stranger when your pride highlighter on every other page says turn the other cheek, ain't just a slogan. It's a narrow road you gotta pave. We pass the plates and the casseroles, fix a porch where the stone goes through. When they curse your name, you hit your knees, say, Father, bless them like you do. Love your neighbor, mow his yard when he's hurting. Love your brother when he's slamming your door. Love a stranger when your pride says ignore him. Love the bitter heart twice what you did before. You can love your friends on Sunday morning, but Jesus taught a different kind of war. If you really want to shake this world for heaven, love your enemies more. Yeah, your enemies more. She's got a Bible with a cracked leather spine, highlighter on every other page says turn the other cheek, ain't just a slogan. It's a narrow road you gotta pay.
You pass the plates and the casseroles, fix the porch when a storm rolls through. When they curse your name, you hit your knee,
Say, Father, bless them like you do.